Hi, my name is Daphne, and it is a beautiful Tuesday, I think June 2nd today, and I am literally sitting out here enjoying the beautifulness of today. We have a 70-some degree day today. It is not super humid, a nice breeze going. It's just a beautiful day to be outside. We literally just got back from a gorgeous camping trip, so we have been out here for 2 days enjoying the elements and all of the pollen floating around as well. And so I'm just energized and hyped up to be more outside and doing some gardening work. So today, on today's agenda, we have to replace 2 tomato plants that apparently did not make it from the transplanting, which happens, which is why I say have a bunch of extra plants ready to just take their place, and I have a bunch of random tomatoes, probably all Cherokee purple, but they'll go in there. And then also we need to, to create a irrigation system, at least for these 2 garden beds. I'm actually going to do it slowly, just trying to see whether or not it will work. But I do have an old rain barrel, aka a garbage can, with a spigot that I disconnected from one of the rain drains just because it wasn't really working where it was. But I figure I can probably move it on the inside of the enclosed space and actually hook up some PVC pipes and see if I can get an irrigation system going to relieve some pressure. Because the hotter it gets, the hotter it gets, I just don't want to be dragging the water hose all around this garden space. Not to mention last year I actually tore the water hose going around the corners, and I also destroyed a couple of plants as well. So it's time for me to actually start to come up with an irrigation system for the back of the house now that the front of the house is actually taken care of. So we're going to do that as well. So if you would like to see how I'm constructing this DIY irrigation system for the garden beds, then come with me, and in the process of us doing everything else we need to do around here, we will construct that as well. Alright, so I have 8 5-foot, I think it's about 5 foot, yeah, it's supposed to be 5 foot, 5-foot PVC pipes. They're 3 1/4 inch, 3 1/4 inch in terms of the width here, because I didn't need anything too large, just because it's literally, I think it would actually increase the water pressure for me to get them as narrow as possible. So what I'm going to do is to connect these. I think this bed is the longest bed here, and this bed from start to finish is about 19 feet. I don't think it's full 20 feet. And then I know that this one is, actually I think this one is about 19 feet. This one I think is about 20 feet. So we're just going to lay them out and see, cut off the access. So I'm going to lay it a straight line here on the, behind the actual tomato plants. And then we're going to connect them. I do have a bunch of joints here. So I have elbow joints, 3 1/4 inch here. We have just some base level connectors. This I actually purchased so that I can actually change out where the spigot is for the rain barrel. It's actually way too high up. It's right in the center of the rain barrel. I need to get it as far down as possible, but I also need to block that original hole. This as far down as we can get it. Nice little hole cut out right at the bottom here. Just make sure I pick up these pieces. And we're going to get some clear sealant here. And then this spigot I got off Amazon about 2 years ago. And it's this side, so this side goes inside of the rain barrel here, and then this is the stopper on the outside, although think that goes in there. So this goes inside the rain barrel, and then this goes inside the rain barrel. This goes inside of the, goes on the outside. Just make sure I can clear all of that, just to make sure it doesn't leak. I think we got to work pretty quick with this food, so spin all the way around. Alright, so we've already, hope you can hear me, they're mowing the backyard. So I forgot the seal on the inside, but I did close up this hole here, and then I did put the spigot a little lower down and sealed it on both sides. And then this is the attachment that was purchased to connect it to a PVC pipe. On the inside, which needs to be cleaned out, we have the 2 holes sealed here. And so I'm going to take this off so I can put the seal in. And then we're going to start to try to connect this water basin all the way over with, I'm thinking with one or two, one and a half PVC pipe. We're going to connect a straight line from here all the way across here, an elbow joint here. And then we'll probably elbow joint it out here as well, so it'll need a connector. But we'll see how that looks. Alright, got a cap here. So this bed, each one of these posts are about 5 feet. So 5, 10, 15. I use 1, 2, how many did I use? 1, 2, I use 4 here, so this must be 20 feet, or at least about, I would say 19 and a quarter maybe, because there's a little bit of an overhang there. And then this one only used 1, 2, 3, I believe. So I have 2 ones left over, which is fine because I'm going to need a way to connect them both over there. So we put a cap here, a cap on both ends. There are connector joints in between. And then I'm going to run one PVC pipe. I'm going to use an elbow joint here and then curve it all the way over to this bed. And then somehow these 2 are going to be connected to the rain barrel, but the rain barrel has to be in the corner. So let's see if we can figure this one out. All right, so now we're going to connect the 2 here the long way and then see if we can kind of finagle this to work. We're going to grab an elbow joint here and somehow move this yarrow out of the way. And then we're just going to connect this piece here. And I thought about drilling a hole here because it is kind of, actually that might be perfect to slant. So water can come off this way, slant down that way, and then all the way over. Allow gravity to work. run straight over. So we connected the PVC pipe. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, and there are 3 over here. Each PVC area has a cap on the end to just increase the water pressure, I guess. There's a cap over there as well. And then there are connector joints in between each PVC pipe. And I mean, I could have like run them, like connected a smaller piece here and then run it like a U-bend, but I just thought it might be doing too much. Personally, I also thought it would be an eyesore. I'm gonna have enough drainage. I'm only gonna put hose on one side, this side and that side, because I only really grow on this side because it gets so, the tomatoes get so bulky that growing anything on that side just blocks out the sun. So it works. So I'm gonna drill some holes, maybe every foot or so, half a foot maybe, but not once right in the front, just because I want the water to trickle down with gravity, and hopefully we can get some, we can get water all the way down this way. As well as that way, since the rain barrel is there on that bench, I'm hoping that we can get water on both sides. I thought about putting a switch off right in the middle, but I don't really want to do that because both of the beds are going to need water at the same time. And then at some point, I'll put another rain barrel right in the corner and remove that comfrey, and then it'll run at a 90-degree angle. The stinging nettle is going to go inside of a raised bed at some point, so it'll go past the stinging nettle over to the catnip. It'll walk its way through to the what do you call it? It'll walk itself through to the squash and okra bed, and then it's going to cap there. And then there will be a smaller connector, a rain barrel there. There'll be an arm going towards the borage, going towards the bee balm, and another long arm going all the way across here to the golden seal, and then it'll cap here. So that one will be in a V shape, but there's a U-bend here, bends all the way around, connector here, and then there's a 3-way connector here. There's a U-joint right here, and then that joint goes into a U-bend here, goes up to a small PVC pipe there that was cut from this original one right here. We cut that one. We cut this one here too. And then there's an elbow joint here, small PVC pipe here, and then there's an elbow joint leading to the adapter. Then there's the rain barrel spigot here, which actually, this one actually cuts on and off. I do actually leave it, I turn it off when I'm filling it up, and then I just let it come out, and it seems like when it's all the way full, it actually increases the water pressure. All right, have a permanent marker here, and the drill. And my neighbor told me that you want to go bigger first. Well, he said bigger first, and then you go down and you go get smaller and smaller. I can understand that, but I actually do want to kind of shrink the holes in the front as well. That way I can just make sure as much water is going down as possible. So we'll use a 7 and 32 size screw, I think. And then, according to my neighbor who's an engineer, when it's where it slopes at, you don't actually want to drill any holes. So I actually do want to lift that up just a little bit. So All right, we do have success. So I had to balance it out a little bit. Had to raise some things up, put some things down. But as you can see, we have water all the way down here. And if this one here will flow down with this one, and all the way over. And on this side, this one took the most work to balance out the two areas, but over here, we have one here, and we even have it all the way down here as well. So we have it all the way down. I figured that it actually seemed like it drained better when the poles were facing down. So I do hope it doesn't only water that one little spot, but we'll see. I tried to put holes in between both tomatoes. There's a hole there, which probably needs to lift just a little bit so it doesn't take too much water from everything else. Let's see if I adjust that. So far it is working perfectly. As I said, this is kind of an inconvenience here. So now that I know it works, I can actually saw that here, saw that there, put in some connectors, and just cap it when I'm not actually needing to water, which may not happen. So in the summer it may always just be connected because I'm not pushing a wheelbarrow through here anyway. In the fall, I'll disconnect this line and just put some stoppers there, and I'll disconnect it from the rain barrel, and then it'll just sit for the winter. Although the entire thing might be taken apart because I do need to put mulch down. Last year I didn't put any leaves down, and that was a mistake. So this year I will actually put a bunch of leaves down like I normally do, and then maybe zigzag some string across to hold the leaves in place so they can decompose in place and not be all over the place. But yeah, it actually does seem to be working. The rain barrel is full right now. We did have a few leaks from that little part right there. I figured we would. I did slow it down by shifting it a little bit. But I think I might actually buy some more sealant just to go around the inside and the outside and let that dry for a few days. But we don't have any leaks from the actual spigot itself, and everything seems to be working and being watered. So I'm appreciative of that. I'm gonna actually replace that tomato and that tomato there, and then put some more put some more collard greens inside of the raised bed area. And then we have to figure out a netting situation for these mulberries because it's getting ridiculous. And then after I do that, I'll start cleaning up the mulberries in the garden beds, hopefully to get rid of some of the flies. And then we have to cut down that stinging nettle bush there as well. Probably make some fertilizer with that. I can even cut it down and just start drying it for tea, but I'm not actually going to do that today. But we do need to chop it down a little bit. A little bit of an eyesore for me, but it does work, so no complaints with that. And look how beautiful that is. One less thing I have to do in the summer. I'm pretty sure the weeding will be off the chain now, but one thing at a time. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I have a ton of work to still get done in this garden space. I'm finding that for me, that if I make a list and just tackle one thing off the list, or the most important thing for that week or for that day off the list, it makes gardening a little more, it makes it something that's that I'm more able to do, right? Because sometimes I walk into the garden space and it's supposed to be my peace. It's supposed to be my calm. But I see like 80,000 jobs that have to be done, and all of them seem to take priority. And like, it stresses me out to no end. But like, the irrigation system was important, and for the most part we have that working. Weeding was important. Dealing with the mulberries is important. Replacing the plants that didn't quite make it is important. So like, there's a lot of things that are important, and they all seem to be taking priority. But if I do one thing at a time, just one, and complete it to the best of my ability, and then clean up after myself, eventually everything gets done, and I can look back on it and say I did this, and it is a beautiful thing. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful this works. And right now it seems like such a small thing. Like, I don't know, like in my mind I'm like, it's not gonna work, it's not enough water. But it's so much easier just to drag the hose and fill up one barrel versus trying to individually water every single plant. It is a blessing to not have to do that. So just this small thing right now is truly a blessing. The only thing I do need to figure out is mulch. That's the next thing, because that will actually keep the soil dry, so I don't need to water it as much if I have the mulch. So we're definitely gonna try to do that as well. But so I'm just looking at all of the nasturtiums popping up. I literally just did a free fall. I just threw the seeds all over the place and hope for the best. And we got bored, and nasturtiums just popping up all over the place. It really is beautiful, truly. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching, and you have a great day.